So we know that migraine is more than a headache, but did you know that you may be experiencing symptoms because of your migraine days before your head pain even begins? There are actually 5 distinct phases to a migraine attack, and we're going to talk about all of them in depth today. If you're new here, my name is Casey. I'm the Migraine Nutritionist. I have lived with migraine my whole life, and I use my lived experience of having migraine combined with my knowledge as a registered dietitian nutritionist to help you have more pain-free days. So now I will walk you through the 5 phases of a migraine attack. Phase number 1 is prodrome. This literally translates to pre-disease or pre-migraine attack. These are those warning signs that we experience shortly before a migraine attack. This particularly can range anywhere from a few hours before we start experiencing the pain to several days before. Learning your unique migraine prodrome symptoms can really help you manage your migraine much more effectively. This can help you more effectively treat your migraine attacks or prepare for them to arrive. There are a range of symptoms that may be experienced in any of these phases, but some typical prodrome symptoms include things like irritability, confusion and brain fog, yawning. That one's super weird, but you will totally see a connection if it's one of yours once you start paying attention to it. Sensitivities to light, sounds, or smells, fatigue, or any mood changes. Phase number 2 is aura. This one's actually a very interesting one to talk about. Only about 30% of people with migraine actually experience this aura phase of a migraine attack. And even if you do have migraine with aura, you don't always experience aura before every single attack. Typically, these are sensory disturbances that appear shortly before the migraine attack really hits. It's usually about 5 to 60 minutes, but I will note that this isn't always the case. You may be experiencing aura without the upcoming attack. You may be experiencing aura mid-attack. There is some wiggle room, but this is just typically when you see the aura. And when I say see the aura, a lot of people describe having visual disturbances, things like splotchy vision or blind spots or tunnel vision, but there are also other sensory disturbances to take note of. Things like weakness, numbness, or tingling, those would be sensory disturbances. There may also be speech disturbances or auditory disturbances. Phase number 3 is the one that you are most familiar with, I'm sure. It is the attack phase. This is the most disabling phase of the migraine attack. It is when we have the peak of our most intense symptoms. This can last up to 72 hours. There is an exception to this rule, but that is typically the length that you see. Most common symptoms are things like head pain, sensitivity to light, sound, smell, nausea, vomiting, mood changes, brain fog, confusion, fatigue, neck pain, and a whole list of other things too. Phase number 4 is postdrome, which sounds familiar to phase number 1, which was prodrome. So in postdrome, this literally means post-disease or post-attack. These are those lingering symptoms that are still kind of sticking around for about a day, sometimes longer, after the intense attack phase has subsided. This is commonly referred to our migraine hangover. And the symptoms are almost exactly what they sound like. You have a low mood, fatigue, some achiness, confusion, brain fog. Although some people do describe having euphoric feelings and feeling light as a cloud. So phase number 5 is interictal. This is the phase between migraine attacks. You may be still experiencing migraine-related symptoms on your migraine-free days. Some common things to look out for are fatigue, sensitivity to light, sound, and smell, mood changes, nausea, and anxiety. So to recap, we have 5 different phases of a migraine attack, which includes prodrome, aura, attack, postdrome, and interictal. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments and subscribe so you don't miss my next video all about migraine.